So hypnotherapy is not what people imagine 1, 2, 3 and you're out. It's not like, in some cases, hypnotherapy is not natural for people. So the process takes time, but it is about you being in a state of relaxation, but conscious relaxation.
Welcome to the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast, the show where we shine a light on the incredible businesses, community leaders and local legends shaping our town. I'm your host, James O'Donnell, and today we are joined by Catherine Trillo-Blanco. Catherine, great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation.
Not a problem at all, Catherine. Catherine, for those of us who don't know you yet, who are you and what do you do here in Bishop Stortford?
So I am Catherine Trillo-Blanco. I have a business, Acorn Life Coaching and Hypnotherapy Limited. I live in Bishop Stortford. My family, my children are here. And my motto, if you like to say, is to promote changing your mindset and changing your life. It's really something that I believe in. Part of my life has been about changing mindset and changing how I do things and how I feel. And I've generally carried that through my work life with my children who are neurodiverse, just to get that in there. So lots of adaptation. So I offer an integrated approach now, utilising coaching with NLP, EMDR, hypnotherapy, because, there isn't a one-fits-all approach with coaching. And I really feel that, the focus for me, people often say to me, what's your speciality in what you do? I actually say it's you. It's the person, the client that I'm dealing with, because there is not a one-fits-all approach. So generally I'm working with corporate, one-to-ones, lots of personal, in-person coaching with education as well, and in education settings. So yeah, it's really dynamic, and I did change my mindset and my life to do this.
That's so cool. So if I was to have a session with you, a coaching session, you don't have to share any trade secrets or anything like that, but what would I be walking into? How was that first kind of 10 minutes look from your side?
So generally everybody that I would speak to, I normally have like a discovery call first. Because it's really important, we're registered as a hypnotherapist that's registered and a coach. You really do need to follow certain guidelines with the General Hypnotherapy Register. And obviously there's a lot of training that goes into what we do. So it's always important to have a discovery call with someone that's exploring different therapeutic techniques to help them with everyday life, whether it's losing weight or, addictions. So it's important to cover off like medical history and things like that. So then you decide with that person whether it's right for them to then move forward. And the same applies if it's also a workshop as well, or something to do with a business or an external retreat. You need to know that there aren't any contraindications with the person that you're working with, especially with the hypnotherapy side. So once you've established roughly what you want to talk about and you're comfortable with that, then the person then would come to me either in person or online. It can be done online. And we start with the coaching part. That's the most important. It's about exploration. Quite often people will start with one thing and actually we end up working on something completely different on a personal level.
Yeah, you can see that totally. Like you think what's top of mind is actually what you need work on, but there's something deeper. You find that when you're talking to friends often, don't you? That, people start talking about one thing and then the real thing actually comes out at the end. Or the Columbo moment. Do you know what? Do you remember Columbo? Do you remember Columbo?
I do remember Columbo, I do. Although I've kind of moved on to Vera and the others now.
But I always think about that, like you come and talk to people for an hour and then it's just as they're leaving, they turn around and say, and that's the thing that they actually wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah, there is a lot of that, but that comes with the empathy and the rapport, right. Like building the trust with someone, because then they start to divulge more information, and if they can. Not everyone finds it easy. To actually, you could have someone that comes across really, really confident, but behind it all, they've got a presentation coming up, or it's a family occasion and they're struggling to deal with that, or they don't. It could be somebody that struggles to go out, but actually they're amazing on social media.
Yeah.
You'll often find there's other things that have triggered that
Yeah, and certain
feeling.
personality types, I'm guessing, show up in different kind of ways as well. Yeah, it's really interesting. That is. Have you always been a coach, Catherine?
Do you know, that's something I often reflected on, and it was part of why I'm doing what I do. I've definitely coached my children for the last 20 years, but I come from like the health ingredient food side, fragrance industry, manufacturing of ingredients. So it's very innovative and it's quite scientific, but I've always been involved in working with teams and managing people, as well as trying to get projects through a system. So, and I've been coached myself in the work environment for on and off. I've had great mentors. So for me, it's always been something that I could reach out to. And then naturally, I've been able to do that over the years. I actually started looking into doing hypnotherapy and coaching quite a long time ago when I had my first daughter, and I started a psychology degree, but then obviously life, one of us has to keep going. I was the one whose career was like really moving forward, so the decision was to carry on, but actually that was to my benefit because everything that I've learned I incorporate in what I do now, and especially on the health side, where I was often working on projects for brain health, gut health, the physical side, how we're affected. I also had hypnotherapy myself as something to help me focus and just stop. Sometimes you just need to stop. Our brains are so busy. So it used to be an hour of once a week, taking time out, talking about some of the responsibilities and accountabilities, things going on in life. And then the hypnotherapy, which then, is quite directed to help you just allow your subconscious to think and relax and reset, reframe.
Hypnotherapy, people might have heard of before, but maybe if they haven't experienced it, what does that actually mean?
So hypnotherapy is not what people imagine, 1, 2, 3 and you're out. It's not like, in some cases, hypnotherapy is not natural for people, so the process takes time. But it is about you being in a state of relaxation, but conscious relaxation. So I often use the example, it's like when you drive from, say, here to Cambridge, and you get there and you think, gosh, I missed that already. I can't believe that. I can't even remember half of what's gone on. But you've been in control the whole time. Your mind's thinking, busy. You're obviously processing other things that are in your subconscious, and it's a natural state. And again, this is where I mentioned that when we allow ourselves just to stop, and often, and this is why it's really, really great to use when you've been coaching and talking for a time, because that's quite exhausting as well. You can then reinforce some of the messages directly. So I create a lot of my own scripts and interventions as well to focus on the person or the situation or the group, so that the message that that you're trying to give across is actually related to what you've been talking about and what you're trying to achieve.
I think that's fascinating. I can totally see the benefit in that if you've been coaching with someone and then having that kind of direct impact on someone. Are you experiencing anything at the moment where people you're working with have shared what they're going through with ChatGPT, and then have turned up and said to you, I spoke to ChatGPT about this and this is what it said to me? And then you're having to kind of unravel that, or kind of go, has that raised itself at all?
No, not really.
Right.
I think that, not to say that's not won't come, but I think what people are listening to apps and recordings, podcasts like we're doing, they're listening to interviews. So they're reading a lot. I think there's, on social media especially, there's more and more information about therapeutic well-being and how we can make better versions of ourselves. So, you do get comments. People are reading as well. They read books. So there is discussion, and there are some mistaken beliefs, but we talk through those. Yeah. But a lot of the time, people are just worried they won't have control. They really believe that they're going to be in such a trance state, which is not what happens, that they won't be able to know what's happening or remember.
But they're in control. As you say, the driving analogy is great, isn't it? That I completely understand how that would work. Who do you think gets the most out of this, the kind of coaching, the hypnotherapy that you're delivering?
Well, I'm dealing with such a wide range. It's children, teenagers. I love working with children and teenagers, and then obviously adults as well, lots of adults, everybody. I mean, it's diverse. It depends, some therapists like to focus on one area, but as I say, I like the generality of the fact that I'm dealing with so many things, like I say, addictions, there's relationships as well. So it can be two people that you're working together with, if it's couples, siblings even. So it's really diverse, and that's what makes it exciting as well, because I never know what the next discovery call will be that I have with a client. And as I say, doesn't always work for everybody, but there isn't, that one or two sessions they might decide, well, that's been good enough for me, that's fine. But then you'll have other people that will continue and they'll come back to reset and reframe. But it's really great to be able to actually bring in strategies as well for people that they can. It's not always easy to adapt in everyday life, but, through hypnotherapy and other interventions, we can, get to a point where you can help people physically do things like anchor. If they're nervous about something, you can teach them how to do certain things. You can get them in a relaxed state so they're imagining and visualizing situations, which then makes them familiar with them and helps their nervous system as well. So yeah, it can be getting on a plane. One of my favorite ones was a little boy that didn't want to fly, and then he did. So that was amazing for me. Another is someone that would not go out very often and then did and does. There's just so many things that can be achieved. It is diverse, what I do.
That's awesome. And I'm guessing for people, they need to resonate with you to have that kind of connection, so they can trust and feel comfortable talking with you, which comes across, I think, from chatting to you now. It's great. If people are interested and do resonate with what you're talking about, Catherine, what's the best way for them to reach out and make contact with you?
So I try right now, I'm a new business, full-time business. It's taken time. And then I obviously made my own jump. So, I do practice what I preach, change your life and change your mindset. So the best way, people come through my website, and then I'm also on certain registers, because again, we have to be certified, and it's really important to continue all the CPD that we do. And then again, social media, I'm gradually building up on that, like I am with you today. This will be something to put on a YouTube channel. So yeah, and it's word of mouth as well. It's really important, really, really important, especially where we are. So I try to get involved in local events as much as possible.
That's cool. What are you working on at the moment? What does the next 12 months hold for you?
Yeah, so I'm in education. I'm part-time working with an SEMH school, which is social and emotional health needs for children, which I really, really enjoy, part-time. And around that, I am building my practice, my networking. I'm running some more workshops. I've been invited to do workshops, which has been great. And that is, on confidence, wellbeing, how to be more productive. And I'm also just collaborated and firmed up some more dates for wellbeing and health retreats, which I never imagined I would be part of or doing. And that's with local collaborations, Amelia Rose, The Secret Studio, and Pink Moonstone Therapies. So getting some companies in there. But it's so important. We're all starting out, and we need that connection.
Yeah. It's a great thing about this community, about Bishop Stortford, the independent businesses that are out there. And it's great to see so many examples actually of how they're coming together and working with each other and supporting each other. And that forms a kind of more, for want of a better word, holistic, solution for us that are out there in that community, which is fantastic. Well, when those events are happening, let me know and we can share those with the community. We can definitely do that. Okay. Are you ready for some Stortford Spotlight questions now?
Well, yeah, already. Yeah. Gosh, here we go.
These are 3 super fast questions that we ask every guest that comes onto the Bishop Stortford Community podcast. First question. If you could put one sentence on a billboard in Jackson Square, what would it say and who needs to hear it the most?
God. Connection is key. If we're connected and we're seen, we're heard, we build trust, we feel loved and heard. And I think that's what we need. This is why this is so great.
there's a big issue in the community with loneliness, and one of the things I'm trying to do with the podcast is to bring people together and to share different people's ideas and perspectives. But I think 25% of people live alone, and the more that we can do about making that connection, the better. So yeah, it's a great message. Thanks for that, Catherine. Really, really lovely. Question 2. I think I'm going to know the answer to this one. Where do you go in Bishop Stortford that you secretly hope never gets too popular?
You think you know? Why have you seen me?
No, it's from what you said before we came on. Yeah, I don't know. That might not be the right answer. Go for it.
No, it won't be there. No, it could be. Do you know, it's a tricky one for me because there's so many great places in Bishop Stortford. But if I imagine what my friends would be thinking and colleagues, they'd say, Paisa, you know, I'm a secret people watcher. And it's because it's on the corner of North Street. I can go in and have a coffee at lunchtime. I mean, you know, I sometimes call a friend and say, like, I've got some time. Do you fancy a quick coffee? Because you can. Food. And then you've got the wine side for Bishop Stortford.
Yeah. This is a common shout out for Paisa, and we you know,
Is it? Oh, they're lovely in there.
They are good. We've had Raf on as well, the sommelier. He's a great character. But yeah, it's a great shout out. I still haven't made it down there yet. My fault entirely. I apologize. I will do it. The amount of times that people have told me I should go.
You can go at lunchtime and have coffee.
I'll do that. Thank you, Catherine. Okay, last question. Who's doing something special in town that more people need to know about?
So this one I'm really passionate about, you know, actually, because not a lot of people are aware. I volunteer with the Bishop Stortford Child Contact Centre. It's a supported charity. They used to be just up the road from Nero's. They've moved to Blues, and they run a facility where parents and children can come together when they're living apart. So it's a safe space, and there's also more supervised visits where the courts refer families so that the partner not living with the child can see their children. So I'm just going to do a shout out to those, always looking for advisors and volunteers, and they do offer some training as well. It's really rewarding.
Fantastic.
That's actually something that I'm definitely going to plug.
Good. If you can share the link with me of those, and then we can get that on the show notes so that people are aware of that, and if they can want to reach out to support them, that'd be great. And if there's someone from there as well that would want to come and talk about what the work that they're doing on the podcast, more than happy to do an episode with someone from there to share that work. Yeah, a very important work, definitely.
It is really, yeah.
Catherine, where's the best place for people online, apart from your website, to follow along and follow your journey?
So yeah, I'm gradually building my Acorn life coaching and hypnotherapy Facebook business and Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn and gradually doing more on that side as well, you know, on the more corporate and career side, and to help education facilities. So I'm everywhere, I hope. And then, but I keep being told by my daughter that I need to be on TikTok. Obviously YouTube, I've set that up, but it's not live yet. So that can go live once we finish our podcast.
Good. So, well, what we'll do is we'll put links to all of those in the show notes so people can follow along wherever they are online, and then this will go everywhere as well. So you'll be everywhere from the podcast, Catherine. Thank you. That's it. That's a wrap. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
If you've enjoyed this episode, the best way to support the show is to hit follow, leave a quick review on YouTube, Apple or Spotify or Amazon Music. We're on now as well. And then share it on your socials, or maybe someone in town who's not on social media that you think might resonate with Catherine and be worth them having a little conversation together. You never know if they're not on social media as well. So do share it with people. And if you've got a local legend, someone that's setting out on their own to create a new business to make the community a better place to live that you think we should feature on the podcast, share their name in the show notes, in the comments below, so I can reach out to them and invite them on the podcast. Again, Catherine, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.